Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The New World, and in today's video we discuss the phenomenal play in the MVP frontrunner of the NBA, and that is our man Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, currently second in points per game with 31 and averaging 6 rebounds and assists and helping lead his team to an 18-1 record in the past 19 games. It's time to discuss about our man. But before we hop into the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button as we are on the road to 10K subs. Turn on those notifications and stay tuned for more of our content on the way. And comment if you think Shai will hoist the MVP award after this season, and where do you see the Oklahoma City Thunder going in the postseason. Buffy, after watching Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's season thus far, do you see him coming home with the MVP this year? And how far do you think the Oklahoma City Thunder will go in the postseason?
Yeah, I think, honestly, at the end of the season, it's really a 3 or 4 man race with Jason Tatum kind of being on the outside of it between Giannis, Jokic, of course, because, he's won it the last couple of years, and SGA. But I think they might give it to SGA this year, and he deserves it, man. If you just look on the season he's had, OKC Thunder have the 4th best win percentage currently of all time. I think they're on trajectory to win 69 games this season. And SGA's been having a phenomenal year, man. If you just look at it, and we know he's been efficient, but he's been a different level type of efficient this year. Like, he's averaging 31, 5, and 6 on 53% from the field. His 3-point percentage is a bit low, but it's still serviceable at 35%, 88% from the free throw line with a PER of 30.3, and his win shares is 7.3. The brother's been playing phenomenal, man, and he's kind of excelled in what the OKC Thunder lack in, and that's scoring. They've needed a scorer. If you just look at how their offense is, a lot of these guys that their role players were balling last year, they've been having down seasons this year. And I thought they were kind of fluky last year just based off the 3-point percentage. They were really high. But just with the shooters they had, like, I expected Lou Dort to come back down from earth and shooting like 40% from 3 at a certain point last year. J-Dub has kind of taken a bit of a back step in kind of his creation, which I've kind of been noting on. And they've done this without their second best player on the team, which has been their rim protector, Chet Holmgren, who has been out a lot of weeks now. And, it was a big loss, but SGA has kind of been pulling it off, and he's been pulling it off basically in the isolation game. He thrives in one-on-one scenarios. If you think about it, really, he's the best ISO scorer in the league. He gives it to you mid-range. He has increased his volumes with threes coming into the season. He's taking it to you at the cup. He's getting at the free throw line. He's #1 free throw shooter in the league right now in attempts. And many people have kind of told me that he is a free throw merchant. If you watch his highlights, he's at the free throw line all the time. But if you just compare his free throw numbers to other MVP seasons like LeBron, KD, Steph, all these other guys, James Harden, he's been behind those guys. So you really can't say he's a free throw merchant. He's just been great this year. He's been phenomenal. He's been one of the best players in the league. I expect him to take home his first MVP award. He was really close in the voting last year, but I thought Jokic kind of edged it out because Jokic had a top 3 record. And, Jokic, if you just look at his statistics, they're all-time great. But I think it's this turn that SGA is going to get it. The voters have kind of voiced their outrage and kind of their fatigue on Jokic winning it, 3 times in 4 seasons. Even though if you look at certain MVP winners, if you look at AKA LeBron James, he won it 4 times in 5 years, and people tell me he deserved it in 2011, which I don't understand. Like, I don't see why people think that. It's a bit delusional if you say because the brother had a super team and he lost more games than Derrick Rose. But back to SGA, because I think he's going to take home it. He's been playing phenomenal, man. It's really a toss-up. I really wouldn't be mad if the voters voted between him. If Giannis gets his record up, I think Giannis is like 5th, and his numbers kind of pale to Jokic a little bit. But he has the, two-way side of the ball that, Jokic just doesn't have, and Jokic apparently. So, yeah, SGA's been having a career year, and it's normal for him. Like, this guy just wakes up out of the bed, he gives you 30, and not only does he give you 30, there's no way, he gives it to you in the aura rate. The brother has a lot of aura, man. I'm sorry, him making Bismack Biyombo collapse just with his aura was crazy. The post-game interviews with Draymond Green said was, Draymond's a hater. So like, he hates what all these young guys do. But Draymond was really hating on their post-game interviews, saying that, it's childish. You should let SGA have your moment. No. SGA is that guy. He has that aura. As Alex Caruso said in the interview, I'm passing it to the guy with the most aura. The brother is him. Everybody knows it. If you just look at the IG captions, I don't even want to talk about the IG captions. Like, the brother be cooking. It's like he's rapping at the same level as Damian Lillard. Like, the brother be spitting, man, and like me and Jalen, we be on IG all the time, and we just be looking at it, we be like, bruh, I just gotta repost this nigga, bro. I just gotta repost him, and I don't even know him. I just gotta repost him, man. Because the aura is just crazy, bro. But yeah, SGA should take home his first MVP this year. As it stands, if something else happens and Jokic just starts awakening and they get like a top 2 seed, then I understand that. But my vote as of now goes to SGA.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and agree with Caleb. I think that vote should go to SGA. I think his only competition will be Giannis because as far as winning, and I do agree with the voter fatigue for a little bit, even though Jokic is kind of on the way to averaging a triple-double this season, which is still kind of crazy. But I do think it'll go to Shai. I mean, his team's number 1. They've only lost 5 games. And they're on pace to win 69 to 70 games. I mean, they're playing phenomenal. Like Caleb said about what Draymond was saying, there's nothing wrong with these guys, going to interviews and stuff like that. I mean, they're just building a team culture, and it's starting with that franchise guy, the Aura man. He's building that culture, and that they together, they're brother. And look where it's getting them. They won 18 of the last 19 games. And who's been at the front of that helm? Shai, SGA. And for a stat that he's done so far, averaging 30 plus points per game on 50% shooting for 3 straight seasons. The only other person to do that is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. Like he's in that already. And I'm gonna go ahead and a little quick sneak diss to the man that they said is supposed to be the next Jordan Ant-Man. Brother, you got your butt whooped when y'all lost to him the other night. So little quick sneak diss, but I mean SGA, he's been playing phenomenal. Some of the stats for like this team, their win percentage is like top 2, and they're only behind the Cleveland Cavaliers. His true shooting percentage is top 25 in the league with 63%, and his assist to turnover ratio isn't even that high either. So he's giving you 30 points per game consistently. He's giving you about 7-8 assists a game consistently, and the turnovers aren't even there. And then he's doing this when his, I guess you could say, second option for now, Jalen Williams, hasn't been playing that well efficiently wise. Like he's been shooting a lot of shots, but they haven't been going in for him. And for the fact that they're doing this without Chet Holmgren right now, I mean that shows how dangerous this team can be. This team is stacked, they're loaded, and I am interested to see how they play in the postseason. We did see them lose to Dallas last season because PJ Washington just decided to have legacy game against them, so that was crazy. But I can see them make a push for the finals this year. I'm not sure if they'll be ready to win it though. I think if they do get to the finals, it'll kind of be as far as the Warriors versus Boston. They kind of just got the experience led to their loss, so I wouldn't be surprised by that. But yeah, man, SGA, I think he's well deserving of an MVP this year, and I'm interested to see how OKC plays in the postseason, man.
Yeah, and I forgot to remember before I pass it off to Bardo, another factor that we didn't account for is the level of defense too. Like, just look at the stocks. Many people you look at, okay, like he's averaging 30, he's averaging 50% from the field, 6 and 5. Jordan was doing that, but yeah, he's also giving you the 2 steals and the block per game. Like he's producing on the defensive side of the ball too. So not only is he top 5, top 3, maybe the best on offense, the brother is really good defensively. And I'm not just saying that because his stocks numbers are high, but if you just look at him for the level of production that he provides on offense, the defense that he's giving you, hey man, not many people are doing it like him.
Yeah, man, I will say this. This video is been waiting on this video for a long time, and just by the excitement in the voices of my fellow colleagues Jay and Buffy, there's been a lot of glaze. I didn't know we were going to Krispy Kreme today. So
hey man, hey, I do have an SGA jersey. So watch out.
And I will say this: to give credit to my boy Buffy, he did have that jersey before a lot of this. I mean, he had that jersey back, going back 3-4 years ago.
Dude, it was when they was bad. It was when the Grizzlies were really good. Cause I remember Jay and I, we went on a field trip, and all the girls were hating on me because all the girls were on Ja, and I was like, no, SGA, he's that guy too. And they had the same amount of points that day. I remember that game.
Yeah, and honestly, no disrespect to John Morant, that is the hometown team, but SGA just way better than him. But let's just get back to this SGA conversation. Sorry, Jay. That's one thing I did want to talk about, because I will say this before I give him all this credit, because I agree with the fellas. I think that he is clear-cut the MVP. I think the only thing that's slowing him down is that man over there in the mountains and Joker. If they can get that record up to top 3, it's going to be really, really hard. I know niggas don't want to see it, but as Buffy did allude to, LeBron James did get 4 MVPs in 5 seasons, and nobody bats an eye at him. In fact, they say he should have had more, which is crazy enough to say. Because not only did they say he should have had the 2011 one, they say he should have had 2015, they say he should have had 2018, 2020. LeBron James basically should have 30 MVPs. even though he's only played 22 seasons.
People make arguments he deserved the one in 06 when Nash won it the first time. The second time.
So LeBron James, really, they should name the MVP trophy after him. But if we look at SGA, yes, consistency like this, we really probably haven't seen since Jordan, honestly. If we really just be keeping it a bean. And you know what? I'll throw in Kevin Durant as well, because Kevin Durant, in his prime in OKC, he was giving you basically these same type of numbers, 30 plus on 50, 40, 90 splits. And he was playing with a Russell Westbrook, who is an all-time great player, but that brother not a true point guard. And Kevin Durant is 6'10", so he was creating a lot of that offense. We talk about the most prolific, the most proficient scorers. At this point, we're really looking at Jordan, Durant in the previous era, and SGA. He is in those talks, and also what he's giving you defensively. This guy, because as the brothers have said, they haven't had Chet Holmgren. Chet Holmgren has only played 10 games this year, and SGA is leading the team in points, assists, steals, and blocks, ladies and gentlemen. So he's really doing it all. He's the point guard in name alone. He's really not a point guard, but yeah, isolation scoring. This brother needs to be commanding double teams. Anthony Edwards, sir, take notes. This is what it means to be a great player, sir. I didn't try to make this about Anthony Edwards, but we've heard a lot of shit about him complaining about double teams. You don't hear SGA complaining about double teams. He's giving you 30 the hard way. And one thing we will say about the free throws, I really don't want to hear that shit at all, because honestly, what ends up happening with great scores is they're actually going to have a lot more free throw attempts because they're being aggressive. And that's what we're seeing with an SGA. He's not settling for threes, Anthony Edwards. You don't have to settle for threes to be a great scorer. He's putting pressure on the defense. Is he the most athletic guy out there? No, but he does utilize his gifts from a physical standpoint very, very well, because he does have a pretty long wingspan, and he is a legit 6'5", 6'6". So he's able to shoot over guys when he's getting matchups. He's basically taking that Jordan, KD, Kobe, Kawhi Leonard mode from a scoring perspective, and he's applied that to this new generation. Now, what I will say, because we're in for a reality check, ladies and gentlemen, so let's talk about facts. The MVP is cool. Let's talk about some shit that really matters, and what is this team going to do in the postseason. Buffy and I have had convos about SGA and his development, and what we're getting is really not customary of what we've been getting the past few seasons. I still think that there's another step that he can take, and I'm curious to see if he's going to take that step in this postseason. One thing that I've been evaluating and looking at, and maybe people don't care too much about it, are explosive performances. Because if we are comparing him to guys like Kobe and Jordan, those guys can really give you 60 at any point in time, which means that in the postseason, they can give you a 40-point explosion at any time, because we know that there's a difference between regular season and postseason play. Kevin Durant doesn't have like crazy regular season point totals. Like, he's never had a 60 ball, but 40 in the postseason is really like 60 in the regular season. I need to see SGA take steps like that, because if we're just looking at this team, they do have talent, young talent, but they don't have another star or superstar as of now currently. Maybe guys like Chet and J-Dub can take those next steps, but they haven't so far. So SGA, with this team surrounding him, he's going to have to take his game to another level, because we know that there are going to be some behemoths in that Western Conference that he may have to go through when we look at if they're going against the Denver. You got to outplay Jokic, because we know Jokic is going to give you a 30-point triple-double in the postseason. We know that. If you go against the Dallas Mavericks, Luka didn't play that well last year in the postseason, but Luka is a guy that can give you 50 in the postseason. So he is going to have to outperform those guys if they want a chance. And that's not even counting the fact that they go against Boston Celtics. That's a team that has more talent than you, and they have more experience. So SGA is really going to have to carry quite a load, pause, if this team wants to win a championship. And I think that they can, but I have to see a few things happen. Now, it's going to be hard to kind of qualify that in the regular season, but I'm going to be paying attention to a lot of these games against the upper echelon teams, or teams that have a lot of experience. I want to see how this team performs. Also, we haven't really talked about coaching. That coach has really done a phenomenal job. Execution is going to pay a lot, because when you have a young team, coaching matters just as much. That's really all I have to say about the SGA discussion. I'm glad to see that. Well, really, he's really not getting a whole lot of traction and attention, and that's to do with him being in the small market, which we will be talking about in the future, ladies and gentlemen, because it really is irritating a team like this. And OKC has been historic for this, even when they had KD and Russ, just not really getting the attention that they deserve, even with superstar talent, because SGA is marketable. They're just not getting the attention or the traction. And this team is very entertaining to watch. Like, even though they are shooting, they shoot a good amount of threes, they just have a joyous, entertaining style. And with all of the youth on the team, just to see those guys, going up and down the court playing defense, hyping each other up, like with the post-game talk, Draymond Green, shut the hell up, sir, please. He is just showing his age when he talks about young players. But all that aside, I'm really interested to see. I'm really more hyped in this NBA season, even though the product is not that good. in these smaller market teams because of what they've been able to build. OKC, Sam Presti, they just built great rosters, great, young talent. And hopefully they'll be able to get these contract situations settled, because that is what's been hard for them to manage in prior years, like with the James Harden situation, not paying a luxury tax, bullshit like that. So can they strike while the iron is hot? Because you can't miss your window. They may have a few year window with this amount of talent, but we know teams get better as years go on. And if you miss a window and you don't add to it, you can end up like Denver, where you have a great all-time great player, but not really in contention to win a championship consistently because you haven't built around them. We'll see what this team can do, because they're probably going to have the 1 seed going into the playoffs from a Western Conference perspective, and I'm looking forward to it.
I get to the rim on anybody. Let's go. Relax. My whole life is consistent. Everything I do. We stay with it. Yo, shut up. Stay with our principles.
I'm passing the phone to someone who has insane